In this video, in the previous video, what we did was we actually created our UI to just have a text field, and then we have a button. When you click on the button, it's supposed to enter whatever name you enter into your SQLite database. Now, how do we know where our SQLite database is? Well, Android Studio comes with a list of options that we can use here. One of it is something called app inspection. So I really like the app inspection. So because we've already clicked on this add user button, we want to first to check. We're going to do a few checks, right? First check is, if you remember from the previous class that we had, we looked at file storage, where if we go on to view tool windows, we can see app inspection here, but I'm going to check on device explorer. I'm going to click on data, then I'm going to click on data, and I'm going to look for my particular project. Okay, so we have I should have com.example. So I'm going to look for com.example, and I think that we're working with database SQLite. And if I click on here, can you all see that I have databases now? In the previous one, when we did files, you can only see files. But in this particular one, because we have a database, it's actually created our database for us. So we've actually created a database in our project. But what Android Studio allows you to do is they have something called app inspection. So if I go to view tool windows and I click on app inspection is actually a very good tool because it allows you to have access to your entire application. So can you see this? App inspection actually shows our database. Now we can actually enter our database, but the difficulty sometimes with this is that when we were creating our functions, remember I mentioned to you all that when we close our database, sometimes we won't have access to the database. So I'm going to comment db close in all my database helper, the part where I'm adding the user, so that the database does not close when I add a new user. So I've just commented out db close in the insert user function, so that I'll be able to see through the database, because sometimes it can be quite annoying. Or you can also click on this part here, option here. If you all look on the screen, you'll be able to see that I have this option here where you can keep the database open sometimes. So keep the database open. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to minimize this here, and then I'm going to add a new code by grace, let's say 1, 2, whatever. If I click on add user, you see the database is open now. And the database is open, and as the database has been opened, you can clearly see here we have a table called friendlydb, well, a database called friendlydb, and then our user MD, and then you can, when you double click on it, you'll be able to see the entire database. So you can actually look at your entire database structure. You can actually run queries in app inspection. So you can write queries, you can insert things in there, you can do many things in there. So can you see here that right now, I can see that every time I add a new user, it increments it. I can select this live updates. This live updates allows me that anytime I add something new, I'll be able to see exactly what happens. So I'm going to add code by grace, add some characters to this, and I'm going to click on add user, and you should see that it updates directly in my database. Yes. So what the first one I did was, in my insert user, I've commented out db close, because sometimes after you insert it, it closes the database. But I want to be able to inspect my database to see exactly my database working. Of course, in production, you don't want the user to have access to all of these things, so you keep the db close there. But because I'm inspecting it, so what I'll do is I have commented out db close, and then on my Android Studio, I click on view tool windows, and then I'm going to click on app inspection. When you click on app inspection allows you to select the emulator that you want to run the app inspection on. When you click on that, it should give you on the left hand side, if your database, for your database to be created, you have to insert something at first. That's how we created it. So once you create it, you see friendlydb on this side, then you see all the tables that you are going to create in your database. If you double click on that table, you have a live view of your entire database. So in this particular case, you can run queries as well. You can right click, you can export your text file and put it on another laptop in case your laptop stops working. You can run queries on here. So for example, you can open a new tab and run different queries on here as well. So that is how you use App Inspection to view the content in your database. Yes, it's queries, yes. So you can run all the queries in from the presentation that you have. So this is what we have here. So this here helps you. This is your, if you've been able to do this, congratulations. You have now been able to connect to SQLite database. Okay? And I'm going to show you how we can read the information from the database on the screen in the next video. Okay? So